Hotel family. As always, when you come in the building, hit the like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And just sit back and relax while I get this thing set up. We are going to do this the right way as usual. Um, like I've been telling people, this look like my computer froze. I don't know if y'all can hear me, but I can see that my computer froze. So I'm gonna wait for a few seconds to see if it kicks back in. I don't know if y'all can hear me, but I can see that my computer froze. Okay, we back. Sorry about that. I hope I didn't lose anybody. But anyway, this is really happening. I told you guys, it is time to go on the record. And Marque Police Chief Randall, Aragon, I know you've been sitting back wondering when it was going to be your turn. Now, I got some good news and I got some bad news. I have some good news and I have some bad news for Randall Aragon, the Marque Police Chief, Randall Aragon. I have some bad news for you, buddy. And I have some good news for you, buddy. Just a second. Let's do it right. There you go. So listen, check this out. Here's the good news. It's not officially your turn yet because I'm still dealing with a couple of others. But I want to give the people a spoiler alert that we're getting to Randall, Aragon. Marque Police Chief Randall Aragon, Marque, Texas, seems like it needs some accountability. Y'all got a police chief over there in Marque that's mentioning the big game hunting, and it's time for him to go on the record. At some point, the intelligent people are going to start asking, how is this guy able to call so many high-profile names with no response, zero response? And the intelligent people are going to say, this guy must be telling the truth. So Marque Police Chief Randall Aragon, it's time to go on the record. But go on the record about what? It's time to go on the record about big game hunting by Matthew Daniels, Chief Aragon. You knew this day was coming. We want to ask you what happened in Alaska. We want to ask you what happened in New Mexico. We want to ask you, why did you go to Alaska with the same failed community policing program that Robert Burby ran? We want to ask you that. And why did you go against our constitutional rights? By our, I mean my brother and I. And why did you undermine Chief Robert Burby before you went to Alaska? And these are just a few of the questions that we need to get you to go on the record about. We need to know what happened in Alaska. We need to know what happened in New Mexico. We need to know why you took the failed community policing program, the failed community policing script from former Texas City Police Chief Robert Burby, and why did you take that failed program on the road to Alaska with you, and how did that end up? We want to know, why did you go against our constitutional rights? When we led that march, you let my brother know that you did not like our march. That means you do not like our constitutional rights. We need you to go on the record about that. And why did you undermine Chief Robert Burby before you went to Alaska? Why did you undermine Chief Robert Burby before you went to Alaska? So let's get right off up into it, family. We ain't going to waste no time with this guy. Check this out. Chapter 10, Big Game Hunting, titled Joshua Takes on the Marque Police and Chief Aragon Gets Put on Our List. This details when and why you got put on the big game hunting list. Look, the city of Texas City, Texas has a sister city named Marque, Texas. Many of their politics and policies go hand in hand with one another. A lot of the same issues that the citizens of Texas City face, the citizens of Marque face as well. Joshua and I were active in both cities, but we were primarily focused on corruption in Texas City. During this time, Joshua actually lived in Marque. It wasn't long before the Marque Police Department made the mistake of trying to use their illegal tactics on the Minister of Defense for the Nation of Liberation. So what I explain in the book, family, the book documents the war that my brother and I waged against these corrupt individuals. Why I'm asking them to go on the record, they know exactly why I'm asking him to go on the record. Don't you, Randall Aragon? I'm asking you to go on the record about your interactions with me and my brother pertaining to our fight against corruption. There was a meeting held, there were things said, there was video that was shown, there was court dates, there was prison, out of prison, right? Random threats. We need to go on the record, Aragon. I need you. I'm gonna tell it all, right? But before I tell it all, and before I really let the people know just how dirty it was, I'm trying to give individuals an opportunity to go on the record and tell their side of the story, because when I talk, people they're gonna think this is unbelievable. They already read the book and think that it's unbelievable, but no, it's all true. So I'm telling these people, go on the record, get your side of the story out, and they don't want to do it because they know that everything in the book is true. Look at this. I remember Joshua calling me saying that Police Chief Randall Aragon and the Marque Police Department were feeling left out of the revolution and they wanted some attention. So we were going to give them all the attention they wanted and more. This began to unfold shortly after our march on the TCPD. So I guess they wanted some of their revolution for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Ha, ha, ha. Now, mind you, in the book Big Game Hunting, I document part of our fight against corruption, a march that my brother and I led against the Tech City Police Department. And we also held a rally, a march against corruption and a rally against corruption. We marched from City Hall down to the police station and we let them know where we stood. Right now, shortly after this march is when a lot of this situation happened with Lamarck. And ultimately, Aragon confessed to my brother in a meeting face to face that he had problems with our march. And he even talked to my brother about his conversations with Robert Burby about my brother and I. So listen, family, listen. Newton County Sheriff, ex-Tech City Police Chief Robert Burby, he can't pretend like he doesn't know what this is all about, because Aragon has already told us that he had conversations with Burby about us. And not only did he confess that they had conversations about us, he told us what the conversation was about. That's why, Aragon, we need you to go on the record, man. You're a real good witness. You're a real good witness for the prosecution. But after we get on Aragon bumper, Aragon ran off to Alaska, and it caught us by surprise, family. Yes, he's back the chief of police in Lamarque now, but when we first tried to get our hands on him, he scurried off to Alaska. And now I talk about that in chapter 10. After I explain why we have to take his head off, I describe us taking his head off. Chapter 11, Chief Aragon tries to escape to Alaska, but we still manage to put his head on the wall. Look, shortly after this meeting, the meeting that I said where he confessed about talking to Burby, shortly after this meeting took place, Joshua called me and said that he needed to do a video so that he could address the public about what happened. He already made videos exposing the actual police who falsely arrested him, and these were the videos that Chief Aragon wanted him to take down. He was beginning to feel the pressure of being in the spotlight, and he quickly realized that he did not want the attention of the Nation of Liberation after all. One thing about Chief Aragon bothered Joshua, though. I don't understand why he did it, Joshua said over the phone to me. You don't understand why he did what? I don't understand any of it. And Joshua goes on to say, my brother went on to tell me that, matter of fact, I'm going to read it. I don't understand any of it. It doesn't make sense. Why did he meet me? Why did he admit to meeting with Burby? Why did he tell me what Burby said about us? I mean, you didn't see him, little bro. I looked him in his eyes. Aragon is a coward. I could tell. But for some reason, he felt comfortable saying everything that he said. I can't put my finger on it, but something doesn't make sense. I thought about what Joshua was saying. He was the one that attended a meeting, and I trusted his gut instinct when it came to matters like that. But I didn't understand his point. And so what I'm describing here is that when my brother had the meeting with Aragon, well, he exposed Burby, he exposed his hand, and he lost control, basically. When he had that meeting, my brother was saying, I don't really get why he met with me and why he acted like that in the meeting, because looking him in his eyes, he could tell that Aragon was a coward. He was shocked that this coward would act like he was acting in the meeting. And so what we found out was that at the time of the meeting, Aragon already knew he had gotten a job in Alaska. He already knew he was going to be escaping to Alaska. So he didn't mind going overboard with my brother and I, because he thought that he would scurry away to Alaska and never have to deal with us again. Right? But that's far from the truth, family. We chased him down all the way to Alaska through social media. I reached out to people on Facebook. I reached out to individuals in Fairbanks, Alaska, where he went, and we just went big game hunting, long distance big game hunting. That's all it was, family. I did some research on Aragon. I like some previous research to when he was trying to get the job to be the police chief of Fairbanks, Alaska. I looked into some older stories, and I realized that the majority of the people in Fairbanks, Alaska, wanted a local lieutenant named Eric Jusk. I may be pronouncing it wrong, but named Eric. They wanted him to be chief, and they didn't really want an outsider like Aragon to be chief. So I tapped into that pool of discontent, right? I reached out and I tapped into that pool of discontent, and we were able to reach out to Aragon in Alaska and keep tabs on Aragon in Alaska and still make him pay and hold him accountable for what he did while he was in Lamarque. But now he's back, which I'm happy he's back, because now he can go on the record, right? We would all like for him to go on the record. Now, check this out, family. One of the things that I said we wanted him to go on the record about is why, when he ran off to Alaska, did he take the same failed community policing program as Burby? Now, you got to read the book to fully understand what this means, but let me show you something. Now, this is, look, that's Aragon right there. It may be blurry, but that's Aragon. And it says expanding efforts. Look, community policing comes to fit neighborhood. That's nice for you to know that there's an officer assigned to you. That's the whole issue with community orientating policing. It's personalized. And so it's really blurry here, but right there on that first sentence, it says a new community policing initiative. So as soon as Chief Aragon became the chief in Alaska, Fairbanks, Alaska, he instituted a new community policing initiative, right? Now, in the book Big Game Hunting, I document how Chief Robert Burby had instituted a community policing initiative in Texas City. And it is that community policing initiative under the auspices of Operation Crackdown 2 that I attack and dismantle in the book. It is this that my brother and I was fighting on the ground. Not just this, but that whole idea of community policing. Burby used that to give his officers free range to harass the community. And so Aragon gets this community policing game, and when he goes to Fairbanks, Alaska, where this game has not been taken to them yet, he institutes the new community policing initiative. And now you see community policing comes to fifth neighborhood. So this thing, now listen to me, family. This guy is basically a failed chief from Lamarque. He he was running away. Well, he was already trying to get that job, but he ran away from the situation that he had caused with my brother and I. Ran all the way to Alaska. Then this failed cop who's running away to Alaska institutes this community policing program and starts spreading it around their city. But we're going to see how that turned out for him, family. We're going to see how that turned out for him. Look, in the book, I say, needless to say, Aragon was on borrowed time, and it didn't take long for him to fall on his own corrupt sword. A few years went by before it all came tumbling down. I was sitting inside of my home one night in October of 2016 when I received a notification on my cell phone that someone left a comment on one of the YouTube videos that Joshua recorded talking about Chief Randall Aragon. Curious, I investigated to see what the comment said. And this is how we subsequently became aware of his downfall. When he fell so hard in Fairbanks, Alaska, he knew that the Nation of Liberation was on his bumper. So when this happened in 2016, from Alaska, probably still in Alaska, he reached out through YouTube into the comment section to harass my brother and I in his moments of shame. And we're going to get to his moments of shame. I'm going to tell you exactly how and why he got shamed out of Alaska. But look, check this out. I want to prove what I just said about him taking Burby's community policing program. Look what I say in Big Game Hunting. Robert Burby then worked as a patrol officer in Marietta, Georgia. And while there, he led the community policing program. From there, Burby served as the police chief in Holly Springs, Mississippi from 2002 to 2004. In 2004 is when he came to Texas City. So we see that when he came to Texas City in 2004, he started this community policing initiative, right? Now, before he was in Texas City, he was in Holly Springs, Mississippi. Before he was in Holly Springs, Mississippi, he was a patrol officer in Marietta, Georgia, getting the game on this community policing, possibly. And so while there, the article says that he led the community policing program. Look, this is a clip from an article that's in the book. Look, as a patrol officer, led the community policing program in Marietta, Georgia. And then look, served as Holly Springs, Mississippi police chief from 2002 to 2004. And check this out. Burby comes to Texas City from Holly Springs, Mississippi, where he also served as chief. There, Burby launched a number of public safety and community policing initiatives, including that city's first bicycle safety rodeo. So, when he was in Holly Springs, Mississippi, he was the chief and he launched a community policing initiative. Before that, when he was in Marietta, Georgia, he was a patrol officer that led the community policing program. So from Marietta, Georgia, he was into the community policing. Holly Springs, he went to Holly Springs and he took the community policing on the road with him and he instituted it there. When he left there in 2004 and he came to Texas City in 2004, he brought the community policing here, family. They took it on the road. And then Aragon, being influenced by Burby, possibly, allegedly, when he went to Alaska, he took the community policing on the road with him all the way to Alaska. Why did he pick this up and take this on the road? I don't know. Why is Burby taking it on the road? I don't know. Somebody needs to look into these things. But what happened to Chief Aragon when he was in Alaska, right? Starting these community policing programs. Look at this article, family. Investigation finds former moonlighting Fairbanks chief had a conflict of interest. This is Aragon being shamed out of Alaska. Former Fairbanks police chief. Now, I want y'all to follow the timeline. He gets into it with the Nation of Liberation in Texas City, Marque area. He runs off to Marque. We connect with disgruntled people in he runs to Alaska. We connect with disgruntled people in Alaska that do not want him there, right? He gets exposed for corruption in Alaska. Let's look at it. Former Fairbanks Police Chief Randall Aragon's secondary job as a private security consultant was in conflict with his public position, and he personally profited from information gleaned as a law enforcement officer. An investigation has found. An executive summary of the investigation conducted by Russell Consulting, LLC, reviewed allegations made by former Fairbanks Police Chief Dan Hoffman in September that Aragon's moonlighting gig was a conflict of interest. So we see that another former Fairbanks Police Chief, Dan Hoffman, alerted the proper authorities about now the former police chief Aragon. So a cop had to do what a cop did and get Aragon off the streets. The investigation substantiated Mr. Hoffman's concerns, said a statement from Till Soden, a spokesman for the Fairbanks mayor's office. The investigation substantiated Mr. Hoffman's concerns. He had concerns about Aragon. They were substantiated. The investigation's executive summary was given to the mayor's office January 10th, the statement said. It was announced Friday. The company's investigation found that Aragon's moonlighting presented a potential conflict of interest and that he was profiting from information gained through his position as a law enforcement officer to advance financial or other private interests. Statements made by Aragon could be reasonably interpreted to negatively affect department morale and public perception, the executive summary said. Soden added he made comments that his security surveys were better than those of the police officers, more thorough, Soden said. Aragon's boasts were attempts to convince people to pay for his services. During his time as chief, Aragon conducted 9 security surveys. 5 were done off-duty through his personal security survey company, Certified Security Surveys. Those done in his capacity as chief were free of charge. The 5 conducted under his private company each cost $600. So listen, what the article is about to explain is that Chief Aragon in Alaska had a private security company, right? And what he did is the service that he provided, conducting these surveys, these safety surveys, these security surveys, that service that he provided was also provided free of charge by the police department that he worked for, the police department that he was the chief of. And so what he would do when he would be explaining this to citizens, well, it was free of charge as long as you were a citizen, right? A citizen of Fairbanks, Alaska. And so what Aragon would do when explaining this, he would say that his personal security thing could do a better job than the officers and that they were more thorough. And he was trying to do that to convince people to pay him $600 for the services as opposed to getting the services for free. Yeah, that's what he was doing. Shame on him. The allegations against Aragon first arose in an open letter from former police chief Hoffman at the Fairbanks City Council's September 19th meeting. In the letter, Hoffman said he was literally sickened to get a report about Aragon committing highly unethical activity. So this former police chief was literally sickened by Aragon behavior. You know what? I'm sickened by his behavior too. A business owner had told Hoffman that she had asked the Fairbanks Police Department to conduct a walkthrough of her business and suggest security improvements, which the department does for free for businesses within city limits. So this lady has a business within city limits. The city offers this service free of charge where they would do a walkthrough of her business and suggest security improvement. So she goes to her chief to get this free service from her wonderful police department. And let's see what Aragon does. The man who was accused of committing highly unethical activity, and the man that literally sickened former police chief Hoffman. The business owner alleged, according to the letter, that Aragon responded by explaining the police department was understaffed and officers sent on such a detail would likely perform a very brief job of little value. Stop. The business owner alleged, according to the letter, that Aragon responded. This is what Aragon said to her about his department. Aragon responded by explaining the police department was understaffed and officers sent on such a detail would likely perform a very brief job of little value. He's talking trash about his own department. Now, as bad as you want to hate me, what about this guy? You gonna let this guy off the hook? Aragon, it's time to go on the record, man. It's time for all of y'all to go on the record. I'm tired of y'all trying to pretend like this doesn't exist. Y'all gotta stop pretending like big game hunting don't exist, man. Get it over with. Get it over with, man. This is shameful. Shameful. Let's go on, man. I don't want to get too crazy. She was then somewhat shocked and taken aback when the chief then offered to do a much more thorough job himself, acting in a private contractor capacity as a federally certified protection professional, the letter says. So the lady says she was shocked and taken aback after he slandered his own police department. He said that he'll do a much more thorough job himself. For the $600 though. Man, this is crazy, Aragon. And y'all trust this guy? Why did y'all let him come back? Okay, so he's run off in shame, goes to Alaska, tries to be Robert Burby. He goes to Alaska and tries to be Robert Burby with the community policing. More on that in the book, Big Game Hunting. Gets shamed out of Alaska. You are seeing him get shamed out of Alaska because he is corrupt and he cannot be trusted. I told y'all listen, go on the record about this, Aragon. Police Chief Randall Aragon sold out Police Chief Robert Burby in a meeting with my brother. Go on the record about that. Police Chief Randall Aragon sold out Police Chief Robert Burby in a meeting with my brother. Go on the record about that. And now I know some people may think that Burby know it's true because what we said, he know where it came from. So Burby knows. The public might not know. They may not know if I'm telling the truth, but look at this. If he'll talk down on his police department, he's the chief in Fairbanks. He talked down on him for the high $600. You think he won't throw Burby under the bus and he running off to Alaska? Let's continue. Think about that. Let's continue. On October 7th, newly elected Mayor John Eberhart requested to the Alaska Municipal Joint Insurance Association that an investigation be conducted. The organization chose Russell Consulting, which traveled to Fairbanks from South Central to conduct interviews and review reports, eventually leading to its findings. Aragon took over as chief of police November 24, 2014. He was placed on leave on September 23rd and resigned on October 28th. Amid continued investigation. He could not be reached for comment Friday. So he may not, if he couldn't be reached for comment on this, he might not be reached for comment on it now. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I figured it out. It's been in my face the whole time. It's been in big game hunting. This is why Aragon ain't never go on the record. He didn't go on the record in Alaska, and he damn sure ain't going to go on the record now. Look, after Aragon resigned, Eric Juice, then the deputy chief of the department, was tapped for the position. Alaska Public Media reported in early December. Remember what I told you? This was the guy who was supposed to be the chief all along. That was the lieutenant. He was supposed to be the chief all along. I don't know why they brought Aragon down there. Look, the investigation also found that then Mayor Eberhart had given verbal approval of Aragon's secondary employment. Hoffman's initial letter had asked that if Eberhart was aware of the activity, that he be censured in the most stringent terms possible. In October, basically, and so he lost his job. You know, so he got ran out of Alaska in shame. Proof positive. So remember, Aragon, time to go on the record, fam. Big Game Hunting by Matthew Daniels. What happened in Alaska, man? What was all that about? What happened in New Mexico? I'm getting to that in a second. And why did you go to Alaska with the same failed community policing program that Robert Burby ran? Why are y'all taking this community policing on the road? More on that in the book Big Game Hunting. And why did you go against our constitutional rights? Why were you so upset that we let them march? And if it wasn't legal to lead the march, why weren't we taken to jail? Why were you upset about that? And why, oh why, did you undermine Chief Robert Burby before you went to Alaska? We need you on the record saying, why did you do that to Burby? Why did you do that to Chief Burby? But check this out. But what happened to this guy after he gets shamed out of Alaska? And it's just overkill. He gets shamed out of another place. Former FPD chief placed on leave at new job in New Mexico returned to service. Look, a former Fairbanks Police Department chief. Sad. A former Fairbanks Police chief was temporarily suspended last month from his new job as the police chief of a small New Mexico retirement community. So he went to a small New Mexico retirement community and still couldn't properly govern. Randall, Aragon was placed on administrative leave between October 3rd and October 29th in the city of Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, for reasons that the city's leaders haven't disclosed. He resumed duties following completion of a 2-week certification course at the New Mexico Police Academy, according to local news reports. So this guy that was the chief in Marque, a chief in Alaska, he's a chief here in New Mexico at the time. Now he's a chief back here in Marque again. This guy gets placed on administrative leave after getting run out of Alaska. Now think about this, family. They didn't say why, but look what they do say. For reasons that the city's leaders haven't disclosed. They didn't say why, but look what they did say. He resumed duties following completion of a 2-week certification course at the New Mexico Policing Academy, according to local news reports. So that could have everything to do with it. That 2-week certification course. Maybe it was something that he needed, some type of training, something that he didn't know. Maybe he did something wrong, and they were like, "Hey, because you did this wrong, you need 2 weeks of training or whatever." I don't know what it is, but I know that he was dealing with these problems, right? I know he was dealing with these problems. Look, reached by phone Tuesday, Aragon told the Daily News Monitor that he can't talk about the reasons he was placed on leave. Again, no comment. He'll probably never go back on the record. It's a personal matter, and I'm back on duty, and it's been resolved. So, maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's nothing, but it's been enough time. Go on the record. If it's nothing, just go on the record. Just tell us. Aragon also stated that his certification class at the police academy was not related to his time on leave. Okay. Well, we keep reading. We find out that certification class was not related. But we still want to know what it is, because we don't believe you. We don't believe you. But this is what it says, but we don't believe you. Aragon served as Fairbanks police chief from 2014 to 16. Shameful. I ain't gonna spend too much more time on you, Aragon. Man, Lamar Police Chief Randall Aragon. It's time to go on the record about big game hunting. It's time for all of y'all to go on the record about big game hunting. But Lamar, once again, needs some revolution. And we starting with the police chief. Let me get out of here. Okay, so, all right, I've kept you guys about 33 minutes. I think that's been long enough. Because really, Aragon isn't my focus right now. I'll go into detail about a lot more of that later. I'm really focused on some other things right now. Like I was telling you guys, there's some really big things on our plate. My plate, my brother's plate. Some very, very interesting things are happening with the book, Big Game Hunting. These people will probably never go on the record until they're literally forced by someone else. So you may be wondering, why do I keep doing this? Because I'm showing the public, really. I'm showing you guys. I mean, it's going to start registering in people's head what they're actually seeing if it haven't registered yet. It's going to start registering if it haven't registered yet. So, Lamar Police Chief Randall Aragon, it's time to go on the record about the Big Game Hunting book. You up. You are up. Not next. Good news and bad news. You not now and you not next. But it's coming. Okay? So thanks for watching. This your brother Matthew Daniels, aka I'm Poe, aka the Chosen Few, aka the Real Bookworm. But I'm not just a bookworm world, I'm the real bookworm. Make sure you get it right. And as always, may your name live on forever, and may your memory, family, never die. And hey, man, if y'all want that book, Big Game Hunting, go to dandyandbigherm.com or Amazon. But you can get the signed copies from dandyandbigherm.com. And if you want to support the movement for accountability, if you want to see these police chiefs, if you want to see these fake media outlets, if you want to see these people get ultimately held accountable, buy those books and $ TheRealBookWorm on Cashapp. We putting in the work. We got they back up against the wall, and they're about to tumble. The house of cards is about to come tumbling down. Hotel, I'm out. Thanks for watching, family. I love you guys.